Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. Um, going to show you a clip. It came out a few days ago, actually about 8 days ago, I believe. Um, Nobody's really been talking about it, about money that is supposed to be set up to give the Maui and Lahaina fire victims money to rebuild or whatever the case may be. But it seems like there's a catch to it, which we're going to get into. And to tell you the truth, I think it's a setup, and I think it's appalling, to tell you the truth. But before I continue with that, I just want to thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers also, uh, here on YouTube and on Rumble. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. I also want to thank to all my subscribers that have been leaving comments for me. They've been very, very heartfelt, and I really deeply appreciate it. There's been a couple trolls, you know, stepping in, and it's fine. It is what it is. I've had some people ask me why, do I leave the comments? Well, the truth is, this is the way I see it. Let them expose themselves, okay? I mean, anybody can see plainly when you go on one of my videos and you see somebody leaving a negative comment, you already know what they're all about. So I don't have to, give them the time of day. But also, I want to say, if you want to help the channel, you can donate. In the description, I have my Cash App and my PayPal links. So without further ado, this clip was played on Fox. And of course, since all the other mainstream media doesn't really show anything, we're very limited. But pay attention to what's going on here with the people of all the fire victims that have suffered in Maui and Lahaina. But here we go.
All right, the state of Hawaii is now setting up a $150 million relief fund for the Maui wildfire victims as we mark 3 months since the deadly tragedy in Lahaina.
Participation in the Maui Recovery Fund will be completely voluntary, and the goal is to get as much money as possible to affected families as quickly as possible, cutting out delays and eliminating uncertainty.
Here to react, Hawaii State Representative Diamond Garcia. Diamond, great to have you on the program. I actually have a ton of questions in trying to understand this fund. It's being reported it's a $150 million fund. I've also seen reports that victims could receive up to $1 million each. But that math doesn't add up for me. I know there was 15,000 people in Lahaina, 80% of whom have lost their homes. The math doesn't add up for me. How does this work out for everyone who is a victim of this fire?
Okay.
Well, good morning, Will, and thanks for
I'm going to jump in real quick. He's absolutely right. Okay. But the 15,000, I think that number is wrong. I believe the number was there was about 13,000 people living, more or less, in the area. Especially the real, the big heavy area that got burned really bad. It was the majority of the people there. So even if you took that money and gave everybody $1 million, it's only going to benefit 150 people out of thousands. I don't know what this governor's idea is. If he thinks that throwing out $150 million sounds like a lot, which it is, but my thing is this: how come they haven't started cleaning the place up and bringing in construction crews? Okay, now I understand you want to give money to to the fire victims. I get it. That's all fine and good. But what about the broader picture? Okay, what about the cleanup? What about the construction? What about the businesses that lost everything? You got to be able to bring more money back in. You got to be able to start somewhere and start building up so people could get back on track and chip in, because I'm pretty sure, with everything that we've seen, there's a lot of fire victims that want to participate in this. And I'm not understanding where they just came up with just $150 million, and yet we're still sending money to Ukraine. We're sending money overseas now. Okay. It's like, where are the priorities, not only of the people in charge in Hawaii, where are the priorities of our government for the people of Hawaii? That, it still baffles me that you don't hear the president talking. You don't hear Biden talking. He's not a president, so it is what it is. But you don't hear him talking about it. Kamala Harris, not a word. Not even the press secretary. Nobody brings it up. A lot of news reporters, nobody's bringing it up. It's just like Ohio with that train derailment. It happened. They gave it time. Nobody talks about it unless somebody brings it up, and then they try to suppress it. But let's continue.
The questions. Yeah. First of all, the governor mentioned that those who would be eligible for this fund would be those who lost their family members and or were seriously injured by the fires themselves. So this wouldn't apply to those who were perhaps renters or lost their property, but this was those who lost life, lost family, and they would qualify for this fund.
Oh, I see. And I believe, Diamond, you may have the numbers more updated than I do. The last I heard, the number of dead was around 100, right? So that's where you can get to the $1 million number for these victims. So that makes sense. But also, if you accept this money, then the understanding is then you have basically signed away your ability to sue or to seek damages from anyone who's held responsible for the fire.
Yes. And so that's the contingency with that. If you take this funding, you cannot sue the state, the county.
Okay, that right there in itself, that's what it is hush money. And I listen, I know what it is to be in a fire and lose. It's happened to me twice in my life. Okay? Nowhere near, the loss that happened in Maui and Lahaina, obviously. But I truly hope and pray that a lot of these victims, that they will see through this. And for as much as they're struggling and they're hurting, that they will really reconsider this, because what's going to wind up happening is they're going to try to get as many people as they can to take this money, and then they're going to sign a waiver, saying that once you take this money, nothing else is going to come to you. And some people may say, well, they can take the money and rebuild. Yes, that's true. But here's the thing. If any negligence, any wrongdoing is found later on, which the way things are coming out is showing that there was a lot of negligence, what you're basically doing, you're letting the powers that be, the people that had anything to do with this, off the hook. Okay? Which means that if there was any nefarious wrongdoing, they're going to get away with it. I mean, plain and simple, they'll get away with it. Now, they're saying the people that have lost family members. Okay, so if I lost a sister, am I entitled to that? Let's say she was married, her husband and children got away. Am I entitled to that? I mean, it is just something that people need to think about, because obviously you would give the money to the husband and children, but if I came out and said, well, I lost a family member, do I get money for my sister also? So this whole thing already doesn't smell right. And this is just the first phase, in my opinion. The second phase, in my opinion, is going to be the property, which everybody needs to keep an open ear and eye for. But let's continue.
Hawaiian Electric or Kamehameha Schools, the prominent landowner in that area. So lots of locals on the ground are saying, this sounds like hush money. I mean, why are there strings attached to it? If they were in the wrong, pay us out, but why strings attached? So that raises lots of questions in the minds of local families. That's what I've been hearing so far. But also there are those here locally who say this is a great plan, a step forward in the right direction.
Yeah, I would imagine the reason for those who might be pleased with it is it would be fast-tracked as compared to a lawsuit. So you're telling me there's a bit of a mixed reaction within the community as to whether or not this fund is something that they should choose to participate in?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Okay, you see that right there in itself, that's really bothersome, because like what he's saying, they're trying to fast track this. Joe Biden has the power of the pen. Okay, he could have easily, gone to Hawaii and said, "This is what we're gonna do." Okay, the Democrats and everybody, out there on Capitol Hill, I'm not understanding how they put so many bills together. Okay, since this fire, back in August, and you didn't see any sections of any bill that they put out for money to give to Ukraine and to whoever around the world. You rarely heard anything for the victims of Hawaii. I mean, they could have easily given $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, easily. Another thing, where's the money that Oprah and The Rock was supposed to raise? Okay, so much money is being pumped in, but yet so little of it is going back out to the fire victims. And people may say, well, it's $150 million. That's nothing. That's nothing. That probably will pay for the cleanup, okay, if they used all that money to clean up the whole burn zone. And it probably wouldn't even cover the whole cleanup, but it'll cover a big portion of it. So now you got that cleaned up. So now what happens to the rebuilding? You're talking, in all honesty, you're talking billions of dollars more. And it makes me wonder, you're going to give them this money, but there is a housing crisis in Hawaii. Where are they going to go with this money? They can't go back to the burn zone and start rebuilding. They haven't let them in. If you ask me, it's like, here, take the money and run. Get off the island. This is I don't care, and I've been saying it, a lot of people have been saying it. This is a land grab. They're trying to give a lot of money away, okay? And the hopes that people will say, you know what? You gave me $1 million for my property, whatever the case is, I'm going to move away and get away from all this pain. And then what happens to the piece of property? What happens to the land? But let's continue.
So I want to ask you as well about housing. So, I happen to know as well that over the last couple of months, we're approaching 3 months, many of the people who lost their homes have been staying in hotels and resorts on, for example, Kaanapali Beach, which is right next to Lahaina. There are not many options for someone who lost their home in Lahaina.
Exactly.
Where they can live. And those hotel stays are coming to an end. I believe there's a sit-in this weekend actually taking place in Kaanapali. What is the current plan? Where are people going to live? What have they been provided for? I guess we'll call it medium-term housing.
Yeah, sure. So as of right now, the governor did say that people won't be removed from hotel rooms, but the mayor of Maui County and the governor's office is encouraging people who are currently in hotel rooms to seek host families or temporary homes for now.
Okay, the mayor and the governor. They're not kicking nobody out, but they're encouraging them. How in the hell do you encourage people who have nothing to go set up shop somewhere else? The mayor and the governor, the police chief, the fire chief, they truly need to be investigated. They need to step down. They need to be taken out of their seat and say, you know what? You need to go. And don't go too far, because you're going to get investigated. The governor was able to clean up what he needed to clean up and get Maui back open for the tourists. All this money's flowing around through funding or whatever the case is. I highly doubt that they could not find the means to take a section of Hawaii and just fast track building facilities to say, okay, this is where you're going to stay until we clean everything up, and then we're going to go back in and start construction. Like I said, this is a straight out land grab, and that, like I said, they're hoping that people will get frustrated because now they have nowhere to go. They're just encouraging them, though. They're not kicking them out, but they're encouraging them. Okay, why don't you encourage the tourists to, I don't know, not stay as long, but raise up prices. You can't do that, right? No, of course you can't do that. But it just seems like they're pushing the victims more and more away. And now they're trying to give them money to do it. But let's continue.
And it seems like, they're trying to wean them away from the hotels while West Maui is opened up again for tourism, full blown. So lots of the locals right now are not happy about that. They feel that they're being pushed out of hotel rooms so that tourists can occupy them, when they're trying to grieve right now, process the whole thing, and figure out exactly what comes next for them.
But is there another plan?
Okay, did you hear what he just said? He used the word grieve. Okay, I've been saying that for the longest, that there is no way they have given all the victims here time to grieve, to process, to just come to a point to come out and say, okay, I can start functioning a little better. Everything has been fast track by the governor and the mayor. And why? I've been saying for the longest, I truly think that the governor, the mayor, the police chief, and the fire chief have a stake in this claim. Whatever it is, I believe they have a stake in it in some way, shape, or form. So they're trying to push out as many witnesses as they can. And I don't know if anybody's been watching, but there is more content coming out. Okay? More content coming out of what's going on. How people are speaking out that they lost so much and yet still nothing. And yet they're upset because the government, okay, the federal government is funding 2 wars now. And God only knows how much more money they're dishing out around the world. But let's continue.
Plan? I mean, does the county of Maui, the state of Hawaii, have another plan for where these people can live until hopefully, by the way, their land is cleared and they can rebuild in Lahaina?
Yes, so right now the state and county governments have formed plans, and that would be some temporary housing. They're currently looking at building physical homes right now, but the focus right now for those families is sifting through what's left, removing the debris, and trying to figure out what kind of compensation they are due from their insurance or state agencies. And so that's currently the focus right now. But yes, there are plans for housing, and the governor does have plans to build temporary housing for now.
That's good. Hopefully that...
Well, we'll see. I won't hold my breath on that. But as far as the cleanup and all that, that's where people have to pay attention. Okay? They've already put it in the air, okay, a few weeks ago, of how there's like contaminants in the soil and stuff like that. I mean, when this first started, the people of Maui and Lahaina, they were complaining at these community meetings that they didn't want temporary housing. Okay? Because the temporary housing will not be temporary. It will be long term. So I hope that the governor has a lot of money in that purse, because if he's going to give this kind of money away, once again, what are they doing about the cleanup? They want to fast track everything else. But how come they're not fast tracking the cleanup? How come they're not fast tracking the reconstruction of bringing in material? How come they're not fast tracking getting the community together, all the able-bodied men and women, and even some older children, that say, listen, let's do this together as a community. Let's start cleaning up. Let's help each other bring some closure. Let's rebuild Maui. Or is it that they truly want what they say that they're not asking for, which is that 15-minute city? I mean, it's been, 3 months? Okay? Now, I understand that things take time. I get it. But it just seems that as far as cleaning up the fire zone, there's no progress. It's more like bounce the victims around. Now let's throw them some money. What's the next move? And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, It's not about, well, here's some money to help you get through. It's like, no, here's some money to keep your mouth shut. And you can't do a damn thing after that. You come to find out that it was the power company, it was the police department, it was, if they find out that the governor, the mayor, the police chief, the fire chief has something to do with it, and on top of that, the power company and the water company or whoever it is, that everybody dropped the ball. Once you take any bit of this money, you sign that paper, all those people, all those entities get away with it. They get away with it. So let's just hope and keep praying for them, like I keep saying. And I know I haven't done anything on Maui in a minute, but it's been a very hectic schedule with so many different things going on. But I mean, they're not forgotten. And they shouldn't be forgotten. This is not over by a long shot, like I said. So keep praying for the people, the victims of Maui and Lahaina, because they need it. They truly, truly need it. And if there's any way anybody can help them through a reputable donation center or something, or whatever the case is, if you have friends over there, try to do the best you can, if you can. But also make sure that you know where the money's going. Because, you know, Hawaii is supposed to be one of these rich tourism places. And they're not acting like it. You know, you'd think you have, I mean, just dozens of different organizations there helping with the cleanup and helping to get material there. And where's Home Depot? Where's Lowe's? Where are all these entities to help donate all this building material? You know, it's like everyone is just quiet. And it just makes you wonder why. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Hope you comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, I should say. Like I said, keep praying for the people of Maui, because this is not over. They need a lot of help, and they have a long way to go. And I would definitely keep a close ear to the ground, because something tells me that the next move is going to be about the land. And it's going to be about people that can't go back and claim their land because they're nowhere to be found. Something is coming up when it comes to the land where the burn zone is at. So keep a close ear to that. But again, if you want to help support the channel, my Cash App and PayPal link is in the description. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, pass it around. Again, thank you to all my new subscribers and all my subscribers. And remember, stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.